Hey Abigail, check this out.
Oh my goodness. What in the world is that thing over there?
Well Abby, let me tell you. That is an Amazon Alexa dot. I got it from the Grasshopper conference.
What does it do?
It can answer questions for us, like what's the weather like? Or how's the traffic on my drive to work today?
What? You've put an always listening device into our dorm room without my explicit permission?
Don't worry. Alexa doesn't really hear anything you say. It only listens for a wake word.
What is a wake word?
Well, when I say, Alexa, then it starts listening, but if I say any other word it doesn't know what I'm saying.
Wow, how does it do that?
Amazon trained the computer using a neural network on recordings of hundreds of people saying Alexa. Now it can detect that word very easily.
Neural network? Like neurons in my brain?
Somewhat, but not entirely. It just uses statistical analysis more complex than we can really understand in order to make an algorithm that interprets speech.
Wow, that's complicated.
We haven't even talked about how it can listen to you in a loud room.
That can't be possible. Sometimes I can't even hear you when we have parties.
Once again, this is accomplished using the magic of machine learning. Let me explain. It uses multiple sensors to make sure it can pick up any noise nearby. Then it uses your tone of voice, which it learned using one of those neural networks we talked about earlier, to determine whether or not any of the noises are you saying, Alexa.
What if I just say, bruschetta?
That might work initially, but Alexa's neural network is programmed to adapt over time, so eventually it will learn the difference between Alexa and bruschetta.
That can't be possible. Computers can't learn over time. Only humans can learn over time. We just program computer to do something, right?
It's something called reinforcement learning. Basically, when Alexa is triggered, but you don't ask her anything, she'll try to learn from her mistake.
Wait, I learned about reinforcement learning in my psychology class. Let me tell you about it. That's when you learn something by being rewarded for being successful and being penalized for failing.
Exactly. Computer science draws from all areas of study. We just program a computer to emulate the way humans learn from rewards and punishments.
But how does it understand what you want it to do from what you say? Like if I want to know the weather, how does it know to get the weather here, or the weather at my home?
The computer system uses natural language processing to understand the intent behind what you're trying to say. If you asked how the traffic was on the way to work, Alexa would figure out that work is related to your job, and would determine from previous conversations the location of your work. Then it would calculate the route between our location here and the location of your job.
But that doesn't make any sense. How does it interpret that information?
Natural language processing is when a computer uses a large data set of example requests to understand the intent behind those requests. Using the statistical analysis of that training set, it can try to figure out the intent of your request with high accuracy.
That dataset must be huge. It has to decipher billions and billions of possible requests.
It doesn't actually have to be that big. The beauty of machine learning is that it can interpret based on only a couple thousand examples. It doesn't really need an exact copy of your request. It just needs the features of your request to be mixed into parts of different examples. If the dataset has examples ranging over a wide variety of areas, then it will do much better than if it was just examples of asking about the weather.
Oh, I see. That's pretty similar to how we learn. If I understand one thing a person says, it makes it easier for me to assume what they mean when they say something different.
That's correct. A major difference is that a computer attaches hard number probabilities to what it hears, whereas a brain just naturally does it for us, and we don't even realize how hard it is.
Alas, I am still confused about a small thing. How does Alexa find my route to work, or the weather, when I ask her?
Once Alexa has figured out your intent, it calls the needed function, which Amazon has built into the system.
So everything is right there in the Echo Dot?
Not quite. Everything is done through the cloud.
Clouds? That can't possibly be true.
No, not clouds. What I'm talking about is the cloud. It's an abstract way of saying servers in some faraway place. So these servers have all the functions necessary, and Alexa is just accessing them through the internet.
I wish there was a function for Alexa to tell me if the dining halls are open, but I don't think that's in the cloud.
Actually, we can create our own functions too. Amazon recently added the ability for anyone to create their own functions in the cloud. All you need is a little programming knowledge.
Oh man, I wish I knew how to program.
Why don't you try taking Eecs101 in the winter?
Will do.